After many years of being stuck in development hell, The Dark Tower has finally been released. But did it turn out okay? Keep watching to find out. The Dark Tower was directed by Nikolai Arcel. It introduces us to Tom Taylor and also stars Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey. The last ever gunslinger, Idris Elba, has been locked in an eternal battle with the Man in Black, Matthew McConaughey, who is determined to knock down the Dark Tower, which is a tower that holds the universe together and keeps the monsters at bay. Performances were good, especially by Tom Taylor, who plays the main kid in this film. He is definitely one to watch. I'm very interested to see where his career is going to go. I would actually say the only character really fleshed out in this film is the main kid. For the first act especially, you spend most of your time with him and you learn about his character, a little bit about his past, what's going on with him, and what his connection is to the main storyline. And McConaughey, he played his character with what I'd say is like a devilish charm to him. He's walking around strutting his stuff, ridiculously overconfident, and you know he is evil deep down to the core, yet still has that charisma that you just can't help but like. The CGI in this film, I would say, was good. But as a filmmaker and someone who has studied film, I could tell there was not really much of a budget for that. I'm pretty sure this film had quite a small budget. I did notice that a lot of the CGI heavy scenes with the monsters, for example, were all set at night. So I think that meant they didn't have to put as much effort into the CGI and the effects, since you couldn't really see them as well as you could have had it been set in the daytime. But it was well done, it was never distracting. The pacing in this film was good, but that might be more to do with the fact it was only 90 minutes and he had to cram a lot in there. This is not a long movie, and I think it really should have been. I'm going to be honest, I've never read the books, but from what I've heard, it is a really rich source material. And after I saw The Dark Tower, when I was making my notes, I did do a little bit of research into the characters, how they're written in the book, and it is quite a bit different from how the film portrays them. This film does keep you really intrigued throughout, though it doesn't really answer a lot of the questions you have. Like Matthew McConaughey's character. What was his motive? I don't think we ever learn it in the entire film. Like, I don't even think it's in one line of dialogue. He's just the big bad doing evil things. And granted, people could say the same thing about Marvel, but at least they have a line or two to kind of explain why they're doing that. This movie, he's just doing it. As far as I'm aware, anyway. That is a major problem with this film, actually. It really does just scratch the surface with everything. Characters, monsters, the lore of the world. You never get quite enough. Because from what I understand, there are a lot of monsters in this universe, and you do see quite a few of them, but they just seem really randomly placed. They're either attacking villages, or they're seen in the big bad guy's base. However, again, you never really get a clear look at them. They're not really explained at all, and they're just there. I mean, it could have just been humans doing half the things, and don't think it would have made much difference. And then it also feels like it just scratches the surface with the characters as well. I already said you don't know the motives for McConaughey's character. With Idris Elba's character, you don't really know that much about him other than a couple of main points. I mean, you know about his past, and you know what his aim is, but as a character, there's not much to tell. Which was kind of odd, because Idris Elba, he played the character, and the film made it seem like the character had a very rich backstory, but they just don't share that information with you. It's like the director knew it, the writer knew it, Idris Elba knew it, but we, the viewer, did not. And the book series is meant to be really rich for its characters, so that was kind of disappointing to see. I also felt that there was an event that happens kind of towards the middle of the movie. It happens to the main kid, and he recovers from it pretty damn fast. And it is quite a major event for a person, especially a child, and it would probably take many years of therapy, and not just 5 minutes. Especially when you know what else he's been dealing with in the film. There's no way his character would recover that fast. Never in a million years. And the ending for this film did feel really rushed. And it also felt oversimplified as well. Yeah, that's all I'm really going to say about that, because there's not really much I can say about that without giving away huge spoilers. I mean, come on, it is the ending of the film. Overall, this was an above average movie. If you're a fan of supernatural films, this is one to check out. Though I have heard it's nothing like the books, so if you love the book series, you're probably not going to like it. But I think you will be fairly entertained by this movie. I was never once looking at my watch and figuring out how much time was left. Like I said, the film is really intriguing. It does keep you hooked, but they just don't seem to go into as much detail as you would like. They just scratch the surface. And if I'm honest, you are probably going to forget a lot about this movie after a few days. I mean, I only saw it a few hours ago and I'm already kind of hazy on quite a few of the details. Good thing I wrote notes. But yeah, saying this is quite a forgetful film is probably not a very good thing. Especially when it's based on a Stephen King book that's meant to have some of the richest characters he's ever created. I would give The Dark Tower a 5.7 out of 10. At times this did have a very Stranger Things kind of vibe to it. In a good way. Which makes me think this maybe could have worked better as a TV show, because they could then have gone into all the details with the lore, with the monsters, with the characters, and just all the events that take place. But at the same time, I can't help but feel that if it did become a TV show, or if it had been a TV show, it may struggle to get some kind of audience, or at least retain one. So are you planning to see The Dark Tower, or have you already seen it? What were your thoughts on it? Did you read the original book series? Do you think there was anything they got right in this adaptation? I'm really curious to know, so why not write your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's have a discussion. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, why not hit that like button and subscribe to my channel so you can see the next movie review that I put online. Until next time, see ya.